comrades, the people, the Pan-African people of Africa, and mainly the people of Kenya. Elections in Africa create difficulties. Everywhere in Africa, you find conflicts emanating from elections. Results declared, the loser does not come out to concede. Elections, if not well managed, can trigger the worst crisis for any nation in Africa. It is therefore very prudent for the people of Kenya not to buy populist ideas and forget the hinge point of electoral reforms, electoral injustices, electoral systems, mechanisms that can change Kenya and bring a credible results of an election where the losers and the winner will agree this was a fair contest. Given that circumstances, the circumstances that surround our badly managed elections, Kenya faces this challenge. A referenda of reducing MPs to zero does not solve your problem, because that problem of Kenya is a structural challenge. It's a structural challenge in the sense that the structures themselves give access to more money stolen, to more money hidden, to more money misappropriated by various institutions. Therefore, to have credible electoral reforms, credible electoral systems, credible electoral mechanisms will resolve 1/3 of the Kenya's problems, in that we shall have credible, proportionally elected people who represent all the views of the people of Kenya. That is my take. And that's the take of anybody who looks at the current situation, that any group that would come up and has not discussed the question of elections in Africa and in Kenya as a case study, and use it and look at how many dead bodies do we always collect when we mention the word elections. It is all over Africa. In Uganda, it is happening. In Zimbabwe, as we speak now, they are on the streets of Harare. It's because of elections. They want to come and overthrow and break down everything in Zimbabwe. It's the elections. So elections in Africa create conflicts. But how can we stop violence before and after elections? Is through proportional representation of the model of South Africa, which has held elections, but there's peace on the streets of the cities. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much, my people of Kenya. That's my message. I stand to be corrected, but I think it is only until you get a proportional representation system that will deliver every part of this country into your house of representation, into your elections, is when stability and tranquility will be permanent forever in this country. Thank you.
A strong commitment to boosting domestic manufacturing, President Uhuru Kenyatta has launched several flagship manufacturing projects under the Big Four agenda. The blend of manufacturing projects launched by the president cut across various manufacturing subsectors, including agro-processing, pharmaceutical industry, textile and leather industries, vehicle assembly, iron and steel, ICT, as well as oil, mining and gas industry. Among some of the key manufacturing projects that President Uhuru Kenyatta has recently launched and which are aimed at contributing significantly to job creation include the 4 billion Kenya shillings worth light weapons manufacturing plant at Ruiru, the plant, which has estimated production capacity of 12,000 assault rifles, is poised to source up to 60% of its raw materials locally, creating a huge market for domestic producers. In April 2021, President Uhuru Kenyatta presided over the launch of nanotechnology and semiconductor manufacturing facility at Dedan Kimathi University. Kenya's maiden entry into the nanotechnology industry underscored the president's grand foresight for the country. According to the industry insiders, global semiconductor and nanotechnology industry is bound to increase multiple-fold in the next few years as demand for artificial intelligence continues to grow exponentially.
This is going to be the future for us to be able to now make our own motherboards, and from making our own motherboards to making our own television sets, to making our own mobile telephones. These are all new opportunities that are all going to be created from this seemingly very small but very critical foundation towards our manufacturing agenda for our republic.
Also significant in the series of manufacturing projects launched by President Uhuru Kenyatta is opening of the Kenya Shipyard Limited in Kisumu City. The president officially opened the shipbuilding and repair yard in May 2021. The facility has yards both in Kisumu and Mombasa and is expected to ramp up building of new ships and repair of the existing ones to cope up with demands for water transport within the Great Lakes region. The facility is also expected to create direct and indirect jobs to the local populations. Both bilateral and public-private partnerships remains vital in ensuring Kenya achieves its manufacturing growth goals as projected in the Big Four agenda, and Kenyans should continue supporting these flagship projects as they portend a better socio-economic growth now and in the future.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting from the Political Command Center in Nairobi, in the general headquarters of Punchline Africa Television, the only television south of Sahara online, the biggest so far. 7 years ago, when I started this project, very many people did not know what it meant to be online. I was the first person in Nairobi to bring about online television. I want to thank all those who have supported me on this journey, those who have listened, and millions and millions and millions of you who have listened to us online. This is a political showdown that we have plenty of content on Africa, diplomatic leaks, Matanga, Africa perspective, Africa business, security, frontline security, states. We look at the security, terrorism, counter-terrorism, conflicts on the continent of Africa. Being a season of elections in Kenya, we have switched off. Not switched off, but we have switched to another lane. Every Tuesday we shall be having key people from 10 o'clock up to 12, 2 hours. If you have ideas, political ideas, if you have anything, we shall be talking to you. And our resident panelists who will be making time for us to analyze the matters of politics in Kenya is none other than Dr. Philip Kisia. Dr. Philip Kisia was a former town clerk of Nairobi. Most of you who were there who never tolerated any form of corruption. And Nairobi came back working. I came here and I saw him. I met him when I wanted to bring the program of road safety with the Honorable Minister from Britain of Transport, Dr. Clark. We met Dr. Philip Kisia. He gave us a good reception, a good direction. Thank you very much, Dr. Philip Kisia, for the work you have done for the people of Nairobi. They will not forget your presence in Nairobi. This is your city, and I think you are one of the most pleased people to see Dr. Kisia, to see a super express highway, the only one in southern Sahara, passing through town, delivering traffic within 15 minutes. You are on other angle. This has lessened the people running at the airport, because some of us used to live 5 hours to reach the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Thank you very much. I think you have seen history, and we thank President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta for his tenacity, steadfastness, under which he has been able, stood by the people of Kenya as he comes to the end of his tenure of office in the next 3 months. Thank you very much. The show today is facing the fire, the political fire. And Dr. Kisia, as you see him on the picture right now, running around the world, the entire world, everybody is seeing Dr. Kisia. He has been there. He has done all what you want to ask him questions. He's going to be here today with us live. So, before we bring in Dr. Kisia, let's update you on the headlines in Kenya. The Standard newspaper in Kenya said, exposed, state of grand wastage. There cannot be state of grand wastage when the money has gone to the people who should have. It is not President Kenyatta. The editor here erred. You don't come and put the picture of the president. You put the picture of those people who took the money. Where was the money? For example, if you say the amount of tax areas not collected, you put there the owner of KRA. It is not the president to go to the door of people and every person. I think we shall talk to Dr. Kisia about the KRA and how we can better our system, tax system. Dr. Kisia, you will come in when I call you, when I introduce you and formally. But that is one of the headlines. I have a solution for the Kenya tax, how to collect the tax. And you will see when I give it to you, the formula. You know, I'm a man who brings the formula. I brought a formula of procurement of witness. They call me Mr. Procurement. And the people are being fixed for procuring witnesses today, this month. So I was warning them. So I will bring another formula that will save Kenyans. Even if they save the KRA, even save my good friend of KRA will be very happy. You see, I will share it with you. So it's not the president. The Auditor General should have pointed to bring the photographs, or the editors of the newspapers, bring the photographs of the department which has failed, but not the president. The other headline is the Star newspaper. Uhuru orders revamp of DCI cybercrime unit. I think that is very, very good. And let the Ministry of Interior now start cracking, and the DCI cracking on people who claim that they have opened intelligence systems, that they have opened an Bonoko, what Kenyans call Bonoko intelligence system, telling people that, oh, we hear about this. You can't open a parallel intelligence network in any country in the world, even in Queen's Land. And you say, I'm also called MI6. They will come and pick you that same day. I don't know why people have allowed Itumbi to tell people that Bonoko, this is the hustler intelligence. You can be picked anytime. But anyway, there's democracy, there's rule of law. The Kenyans want that type of democracy. But one day, as Emperor Nero told you, too much of democracy has killed Rome. And Emperor Nero ended up by burning Rome. I want you to read that anywhere, whoever is watching us this morning. Good morning. This is Facing the Fire, the Political Fire show. A political show that will be coming every Tuesday morning. We shall bring different experts to narrate to us stories, to discuss politics of their parties. That is a very good move by the president. I think our guest today, this morning, will also touch on this degree battle. Well, it is something I've tried to avoid, Dr. Kisia, but I think I'm not going to avoid it in your presence now, but I will avoid as much as I am very sad that it is my own son called called Sakaja, who is at the center of controversy. So I'll keep it off. I will allow you people to talk something. I've made a decision not to talk about it because I know a lot beyond this. So the best thing is to keep quiet so that necessity has no law, but also necessity has law. So thank you very much, Dr. Kisia. You'll tell us about this. Why do people then take children to school? Do we take them to school for decoration? Do we take them to school for what? What do we take them to school for? We don't take people to school to steal. We take them to school to become good citizens of the republic of our countries. But if you are taking your child to school and somebody is not taking the child to school, is stealing a paper and earning a salary, that's a lot of money. A lot of money that has been earned for 2 terms. Someone will ask you to bring back that money. In some countries like China, I think you can't bring it, you'll give it to God or Satan, wherever you'll be going. So those are the 3 headlines of newspapers, and then we can now start officially. Good morning, Dr. Philip Kisia.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga. Again, happy to be with you this morning.
Thank you
I
very
hope
much.
you're doing fine.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kisia. I will do the Cuban style. I will allow you time to tell the people of the world, the people of Kenya, the people of Nairobi, the people of every part, every village, every valley, every mountain on this continent of Africa, who you are in brief. Thank you.
Dr. Masanga, thank you very much. Of course, I was born in Nairobi City 59 years ago. I am a parent, I'm a dad, I'm a husband. I think those are the biggest responsibilities that I think I ever have on earth. But besides that, I've been in private sector. I started off in private sector. I worked in private sector for over 20 years. I have worked for the public, or I've been a state officer for 7 years, 4 years as the first chief executive of Kenyatta International Conference Center, with the responsibility of revamping the MICE industry in Kenya. That's meetings, incentives, conferences, and events. And I'm happy to say that together with the team that I had at KICC, when we took over, we found the MICE contribution to tourism at 3%. By the time we were leaving office in 4 years, we had moved it to 10%, in terms of the contribution. And then, of course, I was given the responsibility of managing the city as the town clerk and chief executive officer. And I must say that I'm the last one, because after me, then the constitution changed. The 2010 constitution brought in the office of the governor, and therefore the office of the town clerk and chief executive officer was abolished. I am also a business person, I am a farmer, and of course I'm a good Christian.
Yes.
So in short, that is who I am. But most importantly, I love this country, I love this city.
First of all, somebody will say, someone who was here when you were town clerk, like me, it was very, very good city. I came in this country and I saw your city. You had introduced good behavior, workers coming on time, people caring for the city. What do you think of Nairobi today? Nairobi that you were in as a town clerk, and Nairobi that you are seeing today with expanded facilities, where our general body has done a great job on some extent, very seriously, great job. And the Nairobi you had is what do you think ails most of the cities and in Africa?
Dr. Masanga, I think what is ailing most of the public institutions in Africa is basically poor management or a lack of management. Most of the cities in Africa are extremely poorly managed, probably for the lack of skills to manage cities. And of course, the other thing is poor leadership. There is, people who are bestowed with the responsibilities of managing cities have no capacity to provide any form of leadership. And then, of course, finally, this is self-inflicted, that those who are bestowed with the responsibilities of managing our cities have a different motive. When you are given a huge responsibility like that one, it is heavy. You must take it in stride, and you must know that the entire population is looking at you, to provide services. So if you have other motives other than providing services, you end up landing into a lot of problems. And I must say that to manage public institutions, you really need passion, because public institutions are thankless. So if you go in expecting to be praised, if you go in expecting to be paid a big salary, you're in the wrong space. You better then find either get into business or get into private sector, because public service is about service. So basically, in my view, those are the, fundamentally, those are the key problems that are facing cities in Africa. And of course, then, when you cannot exercise good management, most of them operate without master plans. Like, for example, Nairobi. When we took over Nairobi had been running without a master plan from the year 2000. In fact, from the master plan we had expired in 1974. And when Kibaki took over, or just before he took over, we had the Nairobi Metropolitan Strategy, which expired in the year 2000. And you can imagine, from 2000 to the time we took over, there was nothing going on. So I'm happy that by the time we were leaving office with my team, we left Nairobi with a master plan that was done in collaboration with the people of Nairobi. We were assisted by the government of Japan through JICA. And, we delivered the plan. And this is the plan that General Badi and His Excellency the President is implementing. You can imagine if Badi didn't have a plan, what he would be working on. You just be moving around like a headless chicken. Yes. But I'm glad that he's made an attempt to implement the plan that we put in place.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let's quickly jump into this political season. And our topic is facing the political fire. I am going to bring fire to fire. So I'm going to fire you questions. You are a member of Azimio. Azimio Party, a coalition of parties. A party, not a coalition of loose parties, but a coalition of a party. Unlike Kenya Kwanza, which is your fragmented party, they have come together, they have no unity in the middle. What unites them is maybe the presence of their colors on the platform. But you are a member of Azimio. What are your insights of Azimio elections, campaigns, communication? You're a very good communicator. Are there a few difficulties that we need to bring out? What is Azimio trying to do?
I think so far, Team Azimio is doing extremely well. I think it's the only party that has produced a very, very solid manifesto. And the manifesto has not just been picked up from the blues. The manifesto, if you look at the 10-point agenda that Azimio has rolled out, it has been anchored into Vision 2030. Remember, Vision 2030 does not belong to any individual. Vision 2030 belongs to the people of Kenya. So if you have any manifesto, if you come up with any agenda that is not anchored into Vision 2030, then you have lost, from day one. So you look at our manifesto, and there's one thing that really I was happy about when His Excellency, the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya, Raila Amolo Odinga, rolled out his manifesto. There's one thing that he talked about. There are 10, and we all have them. But there's one that is called Azimio la Wananchi. And under the Azimio la Wananchi, His Excellency, the President, Raila, is talking about building on the foundation that has been laid by his predecessor. And you will know that His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta built on the foundation that was laid by my favorite president, Emilio Mwai Kibaki. And you know, in management, and you're a good management student like myself,
Yes.
we're both strategists, you avoid what we call zero approach mentality to management. You avoid starting from zero. You always build from what you found. Even if on a scale of 1 you think it is 2, start from 3. Don't start from 0. So if you look at that as Mio na wananchi, His Excellency the President Raila is talking about building the blocks and avoiding wastage. So he's saying that the projects that my predecessor has started, because these projects have used public funds. These are not personal funds. These are public resources. And he's saying that I will not allow wastage. I will continue with those programs. Remember, even Uhuru himself did not pick these programs from the blues. All these programs that are being rolled out by His Excellency the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta are actually from Vision 2030. So when you hear people on the other side of the political divide talking about canceling this one, doing this one, and as a good manager, as a good leader, the only thing you can do differently is, you can come up with new tactics. You can come up with a new approach on how you want to deal with issues. So I am extremely happy so far with how we are proceeding as a coalition, and you can see in terms of, in terms of synergy. Just look at the synergy between Raila Amolo Odinga and my good friend Martha Karua. There's a lot of synergy, there's a lot of chemistry, and therefore their things are being rolled out in a very systematic and fashionable manner. But the other side seems to be reacting to what Azimio is doing. Therefore, so far, so good. I'm extremely happy.
Thank you very much. You have explained Azimio na wananchi. It is a policy that Mwalimu Julius Nyerere used, ujamaa. And many people in Kenya are not understanding that Azimio means unity. Lakini yana mwananchi, you go back to the roots. And that is where a country can now say, we have the governance, we have devolution. What can we do to get out of the poverty? Is through devolution. It's very difficult in Africa to start a new foundation like the one of bottom-up. It's going to take time for people to understand what exactly bottom-up means. But when you go to say Azimio yana wananchi, you are looking at exactly what the people in the villages want. Dr. Kisia, opinion polls Raila started with almost 10% out of 100. Because our brother on the other side, or the brother on the other side, comrade, because presidential candidate William Samoei Ruto isn't, because the slot of deputy president doesn't exist to me anymore, because he doesn't sit to know what national matters are. He's just a flower girl until that day of elections and inauguration and the ceremony. So has dominated the scene for the last 4 years. But the current opinion polls have indicated His Excellency, Right Honorable Prime Minister and Martha Karua, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and Martha Karua, have actually taken over mastered the will, do you think we shall constantly keep that will until the final? And what are your predictions? Because we are asking serious questions here. You are a man who did mathematics, a student of mathematics, data. You want to be able to predict. Yes, that's your question.
Okay, now, my brother, Dr. Masanga, that's a very deep question, but this is my take. That, you know, when you are a student of strategy, you work based on a plan. And not just a plan, but a good plan. So you know where you're starting from, and you know where you want to head to. So it looks like His Excellency Raila Odinga had a very solid and firm plan. He knew where you're starting from, and he knew where you're heading to. But on the other side, we had a team that was running helter-skelter. It had no idea of where they were heading to, and therefore anything took them anywhere. Secondly, they had no competitor. And you know, when you have no competitor, even when you're scoring 1 out of 100, you're still number 1. But immediately you get a competitor, you start feeling the heat. The other thing that, of course, that the Azimio team has done is to raise the bar. Coming up with issue-based politics, which is actually encouraged in our current constitution. It has envisaged that, actually Vision 2030 envisages that we as Kenyans, as political outfits, that we shall conform to politics of ideas. So, but when you just roll out propaganda, people are not stupid, because it gets to a point where they get tired, because we keep on repeating the same lie. And most of the times, that lie lies in itself. You end up talking different things, giving different answers for the same question. So I think that is the mistake that was made. In my own prediction, the numbers will keep on rising. Because Raila has a team, very, very strong team, regional teams. At any given time, he can have, and then he has a message. And, the message is one, coming from a central point, being disseminated by the teams in the same fashion. So when Raila is able to, in a day, make his physical appearance in 1 or 2, 3, 4 stations or rallies, his presence can be felt in 10, 15 other places. Why? Because he has teams working for him. And the teams have been empowered. The teams understand what Raila's vision for this country is, and therefore it makes it much easier. On the other side, it appears as if they are limited in terms of human capacity, and the few who could be there probably either not very convinced that what they are selling is sellable, and therefore they end up, dropping in darkness most of the times. So that is another challenge they're facing. But if you ask me, I think that Raila, at the best case scenario, I see him winning this election at 65%. 65%.
65%.
65%. At the worst case scenario, I'm talking about worst case scenario, it'd be 59%. Because there are all indications that his numbers are growing by the day, and there are all indications that the numbers on the other side are diminishing by the day.
Yeah, when you have too many scandals facing most of your candidates. But I am not going to let you escape the current political heat of IEBC. IEBC clears candidates, removes candidates, adds candidates, and even subtract candidates, add them, tell others to bring different materials on different qualities. Why do you clear a candidate? Why do you clear a person, then come back and say, I have a problem with you? You have done management. Before we jump to the legacy, part 2 of our show, the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. What do you see in the legacy? But let me ask you this question, IEBC. And be honest, you're a father, you're a Christian, you are studying a PhD, you haven't completed, I'm sorry, the people, he has not completed his PhD. He doesn't want to be caught up in catch scenario. So, he has not completed yet, he's not like people who left at the end tail and went away and did some other things. Let me ask you a serious question. The IEBC, if I were a Kenyan, and I'm not, and I would never try to buy an identity card to become, unless it is conferred to me by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, or through marriage, of which the Constitution can allow, which I will not do. I am in the 60s, going home, in the sunset, so remarrying is a problem. So, Dr. Philip, be honest to Kenyans. Is this election well prepared? Surely. Be honest. And you know this show is fire. Nobody is going to penalize you. Talk your opinion. Talk your heart out. Is this an election, surely?
Now, looking at the events that have happened around IEBC, they are worrying. I, for example, just before I answer your question, I, for example, went, escorted Honorable Timothy Wanyonyi to present his papers to IEBC. I think this was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We had been asked to be there at 10. We were there at exactly 10. We were not processed until 4 p.m. Why? Because there was a technical hitch. So when we inquired, we even got an answer that even worried me more. Because I thought it was only Westerns affected. We were told that the entire country was affected. So I said, my God, you mean your team did not even have a dry run? You know, just pick on a few constituencies and have a dry run to confirm that the systems are up to speed. I was told, no, there was no dry run. It was not possible. Then I asked, how can you have such an important function and you fail to take steps and measures that will ensure that there is no hitch? I was extremely worried that day because it was the first day that IEBC was opening up the process and they failed flat on their faces. They have never explained to Kenyans. I've never seen any explanation from them to tell us exactly what happened and whether this will not be seen on August 9th, that the systems will fail again. Now, you know, it is mind-boggling when an institution that has been properly resourced with manpower, with machines, with money, with management information systems, with everything, it has been properly resourced, failing flat on their faces. Where on earth do you clear somebody? Or you give somebody a degree, you say you passed, then 2 days later you say, no, we don't think you actually passed, you failed, so we are recording the certificate. So it is worrying that, you know, if it was just one case, you would have said, okay, Mistakes do happen. We're all human, and human is to error. But when you have a situation where there are so many cases of recall, there are so many cases of cancellation, it is worrying. It is worrying. And really, if IEBC did not have internal capacity to, to do the clearance, to do the vetting, this is a function probably they should have outsourced. You outsource that function, and when you're outsourcing, does not mean it is not your function. It means it is your function. It only means that you have deployed somebody to do the dirty work for you, but the responsibility and the functionality remains yours. So if I were Chebukati, knowing that probably he was constrained, knowing that he had only been working with 2 other commissioners instead of, I think, is it 7 or 9? Those are the things he should have done, to avoid such an embarrassment. It is actually very embarrassing. It is a sad moment for this country. I'm hoping that going forward, that is actually prepared. And if he's not prepared, he then needs to sit down with the entire commission. He now needs to sit down with other agencies to see how best he can be assisted to deliver a credible and verifiable elections come 9th of August this year. Failure to which there will be a problem. And if there's a problem, we will hold him squarely responsible, and the consequences will be severe.
Okay. One question you had answered. Another question you have not answered. You have answered it yourself. And I was saying, you almost came to, this is political fire. It's a program that fires you questions and answer them from your heart. My dear Philip, a bad election, a badly arranged election is a war. It brings you a war across Africa. It's not only in Kenya. Be very honest as a Kenyan. And you have actually came to answer you almost answered, then went back. The only thing that Chebukati should do, in fact, you should have said it, and say it. If I were Chebukati, in my shoes, I will pack all my small things and I call my commissioners and ask them who is following me. It's 2 months, it's not too late. The equipment is there, you say, but I'm not going to handle the ballot. Send it back to the sender. Because honestly, any independent observer, like I have observed the elections, monitored the elections across the globe, not only Africa. I've been to a country like Serbia in Europe. I've been to East Timor, observing elections with Godana, the governor of Tana River. I've been in East Timor, Indonesia, and other 52 other countries. Frankly speaking, if you are monitoring chaos, monitoring an election, or observing an election, you see the triggers that are going to trigger chaos. Already these triggers are in Chebukati's docket. You clear these ones, you ask them for 48,000 signatures. But the signatures they have collected are not verified by KMPJ. Is that not a ground enough? Is that not a ground enough? Kisia is, as you said, is a very bad day. A very bad. It's sad. You know, as you said, the word is sad. It's very sad that already we have given Wamutata the ground for Mr. Wamutata to move. Even if the elections on which side, whoever has won, there will be a Wamutata moving to court to say, look, the number of signatures that the presidential candidates brought, some of them contain dead bodies. What will Chebukati tell the world? That they were there? That they were there? Because up to now, the voters have not been verified. Are you getting the point? The law says a verified voter system. It is not yet verified. So how are you getting these signatures? Are we using the signatures of 2017? I assume so. And I want you to think further. The signatures of 2017, can they work in 2022? Where the children who were 17 in 16 in 2022 today are 21. They have come on board. Are you using those signatures? This program of going to national television and people discuss things and forget these small things, these are the triggers of a war after elections have been declared and results have been declared. So, Philip, you came very close. Very, very close. And you are firing. You came firing. This is the fire facing the fire. Why don't you just tell, as a Kenyan and an educated man with data, just move to Kilimani and tell the Kilimani courts to stop the elections? And bring back the books to the president. And then the president then the president called stakeholders, called Raila, Ruto, and others, and ask them, what do I do? And call MPs back. Because the things are not, it is better to prepare an election where everybody will come out and say, okay, I've lost. And I'm going back to Sungoi. In this case, there's one man who will go back. That is, we can see the results going, and they are getting worried. Before you come in, is a loaded question, write it down. Another one is this, a scenario. How did Dr. William Samoei Ruto know that there was 1.something million people removed from the register? Remember, he was the first one to tell us about his voters removed from the register. Then immediately after that, 3-4 days, Wafula Chebukati comes up to say some people have transferred people illegally. And the IEBC did not call Dr. William Ruto officially in the office, like they called Sabina Chege, and reprimanded, or called Moses Kuria, and reprimanded him that, how did you know that the register, who gave Dr. William Ruto the information that 1.2 million people had been removed from the register? That is another ground for nullification of your elections. So in a nutshell, I'm asking you, and face the fire. You are simply saying, and this tape is going to be circulated all over the whole world, by the way, you'll get your copy. Well recorded. And as a man, stand firm and say, I told you. This election, we have wasted 60 billion over nothing before we even cast the vote. Believe me or not, with Justice Muiru, Justice Jupiter Justice Muiru, waiting again with her question. You remember the question that brought out the Jubilee election down? Was one question. Where did you put the spoiled vote? Where did you put the spoiled votes? Forget about the rest of the theories. That was the only question. The election of 2017, first round, was over. And that now we have carried the same mistakes They are here in this election. You see, my brother Chebukati is a Luya like me and you. And we Luyas don't operate that way. We operate in a very straightforward manner. If things are difficult for a Luya, he comes out and says, hello, I don't want to be involved. This whole thing is not very good at all. There are so many. You clear Wanjigi, you don't clear Wanjigi. You clear Wajikoya, you don't clear Wanjigi. You clear, you say, you have gone. Now you have even say, even when you have, someone was even saying this morning that even if you have gone to the university already studied, it means you have graduated. Then what is the word graduation? Graduation means the ceremony, final ceremony of your study. By the English dictionary, which I have in my head. Final departure. You have finished. That's why you are still hammering your PhD, still studying. Finally, you'll call us for that ceremony. Now, to me, I think those are the problems. What is your say about it? This is the fire on the ground. How do you stop the fire? Over to you, sir.
This is not just fire. This is an atomic bomb. Dr. Masanga is not fire, it's an atomic bomb.
Thank you, sorry.
It can likely destroy a lot of things. So what I would first of all would have liked to know from my brother Wafula Chebukati is that he gave a contract to a reputable, globally respected international firm called KPMG. Mm-hmm. They are supposed to have cleaned the voter register. Now, if indeed that has been cleaned, why then are we still having challenges? Mm-hmm. That's a question that must be answered by Wafula. The other thing, and you've rightly put it, is that it was interesting for an outsider to be the first one to announce that 1 million votes are missing or have been tampered with. How did that person get that information? And I'm surprised that
let me correct you. He's not an outsider. He's a presidential candidate in the same election.
You know why I'm saying he's an outsider? He is not a commissioner of IEBC.
Exactly.
So he's an outsider. So not being a commissioner and having such sensitive information is mind-boggling.
Yes.
So actually, Chebukati needs to be put to task to tell Kenyans how one individual was able to access this information before others accessed. I have not heard of Raila talk about it. And then what is even more disturbing and worrying is that the person even went further and said, those were my votes. Me, I thought Kura Niziri. I thought Kura Niziri. But now when you know 1 million people have come to you and have told you these are your votes, is mind-boggling. I've never heard of that where secret balloting is expected to be to take place. But that is very interesting that 1 million votes are removed, and those 1 million voters have told you we have been removed, and these are your votes. So now, postponing election is a very, very heavy matter. Very, very heavy matter. I think is a matter of a last resort.
Yeah, hold on. Hold that.
Now, no, let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish.
You are not raising the fire. I want the fire there.
I am saying is a matter, it is heavy. It should be the last resort. It should be the last resort. What I would urge Chebukati is that if he is truthful to himself, because it's about your own credibility, your own integrity. if you indeed know that there are serious challenges in terms of holding a credible, verifiable general elections in another 50 or so days, and by holding it, we are likely to experience what we experienced in 2007, 2008. There is nothing that beats the cost of human life. If it must come to that point, that the elections will be chaotic to the extent that we may experience what we experienced in 2007-8, then a very, very bold decision must be made to postpone the elections. Bold decision. But you need bold people. You need an honest person to come out openly and say, you know what, I have failed you. If I was in China, I would have hanged myself, or I would have offered myself to be hanged. Because this is a weighty matter where the country has spent over 60 billion, where people are expecting a new president, where people are expecting to move on after elections. You still want to keep them in an election mood for another 3, 4, 5, 6 months. I think it's a very serious matter. And our brother, Wafula, really needs to come out clean here and make a public statement either way.
Wafula in Luya means Ifula, means rain. I think so, Wafula. If a man was born in the season of rain, and don't you think the name goes nicely to say it is raining? And when there's a saying that when it starts raining, it pours, but never, something like that. So let's leave that one. But now, you came close again. You spoke of one word called personal integrity. If out of 240 complaints, the personal integrity of the chairman is mentioned by 240 complaints, they are not mentioning the commission. There were 241 complaints. Only one man did not accuse Wafula personally. The rest 240 said it is him, Wafula. That's why he has recused himself from the committee that is looking into these complaints, because his name, he's the one, not him as a commissioner, not the chairman, but personally Wafula Chebukati did this, told me this, switched off my microphone, did this, you see. So he has recused himself. He's no longer on the committee that is looking at the complaints. So don't you carry the cross, personal responsibility, like Jesus, like Jesus Christ carried the cross. He knew all the problems some were not his. Some were for the Roman Empire. Zacchaeus, who looks like a Ruto, was the Roman Empire problem. Tax collector who never returned everything. Don't forget, Ruto is like Zacchaeus of the Bible. He says, I am now a very good man, but Jesus tells him, you have not returned everything. So and you remember Zacchaeus is the only man who never went to, did you see him anywhere after that? Because he never returned everything. That's why we don't have the book by Zacchaeus. Do you have one book by Zacchaeus? No. He never returned the book, anything. So there is a problem here. And you being a Kenyan, not only a Kenyan of that Kenyan, but a Kenyan who has struggled, who has been seeing the problem, clean things. If it is the town clerk, it's clean. Someone does not come to take you for a bribe. No, you have refused. Don't you see that we are just paving the way for a war? This is a fire. You called it an atomic bomb. We are preparing a war. Can I tell you why? where the firewood is going to come from? The firewood is going to come from two men. Both of them, their history of agreeing easily is not very good. So that's the wood on the fire. So the fire is going to lit. You have actually described it as an atomic bomb. Can I bring you another atomic bomb? That which type of signatures did you collect that verified Wanjigi's Ekure Court? You dismissed him. You took these ones. Which book? That's already, it's a clean slate. Kwisha. Because if they ask the signatures, which ones are these? When an international reputable, you have used the word, you came to hammering fire, you should have caused the fire there. You created the fire and then stopped it. This program is facing fire. And for you today, you will go from here with a lot of fire baptized. That indeed, surely, Timothy Wanyonyi, we are running in this constituency, but there are bottlenecks ahead. Let's prepare for some more money to campaign again. Because I see no court that can accept. You are telling people to bring a list of women. A judge has already now said that was not necessary. You saw yesterday Justice Murima, isn't it? He has set a pace. Another bombshell, which is you call now, which you might tell me. You allow a man who has stolen money as an accountant in Safaricom. And that this person goes for an interview in Airtel. And tells Airtel people that you have shortlisted me. But while I was in Safaricom, I lost some money and I was taken to court. I am on bail. But give me this job while we sort the job. Philip Kisia, surely in the name of God, the one we serve, the one you and I serve in different ways. And remember, Kisia, there are so many ways of going to heaven. You can go, or hell. You can go so many ways. We have not got one way of going to hell or heaven. Everybody goes in a different way. I am an Anglican. That is the way I will go to hell or heaven. God will judge me. Believe me or not, someone will wake up. You are in Safaricom, you stole money, and you want Airtel to give you a job also as an accountant. And the Wafula Chebukati uses, do you know the article he uses in your constitution? I know you have a constitution there, Article 75. But he doesn't read Article 73. This constitution, you just don't keep, Wafula is a lawyer. You can't keep one article, one Kasimola article and start reading. Read the whole Article 73 and 75. Put them together. Make a decision. Because who is going to clear your candidates? Who will give you a certificate? It's a requirement. EACC of my brother Chebukala has sworn never to give anybody a clearance certificate who has been mentioned, whom Wafula Chebukati said they should be investigated. Therefore, if you're a governor, Waiguru, or who you are thinking you'll be the governor of Kirinyaga without a clearance certificate, your opponent will go to court and nullify your election. I see that going to happen. What is your fire on it?
Well, you know, Dr. Masanga, it's only in Africa where people have integrity issues who can stand up and still look at you in your face. It's only in Africa. it is extremely disappointing, because when you have integrity issues, and I think, and I can speak for myself, if I was in that situation, I would not even want to be seen in public. I would not even want to be seen in public, leave alone running or offering myself for public office. So the fact that some of these people have a lot of integrity issues, they have even been arraigned in court. Some of them have even been found guilty by lower courts. They have appealed. Some are even in Supreme Court. They have stolen public funds. But they still want to use the court process to frustrate people, to frustrate Kenyans. I think it's shameful. And it is time that this country made a decision that one who has been found stealing public resources should never be allowed anywhere near public office. Should never be allowed. So there is need for Kenyans to rethink about this constitution. It's a beautiful constitution, but as my favorite president said, Emilio Mwai Kibaki said, that there's 20%. Maybe it's time for us to look at that 20%. And that 20% includes the issue of the chapter 6 on integrity. Chapter 6, leadership and integrity.
Yes.
Because, how can you steal? And even a child who has just been born knows you are a thief, and you're still hanging onto the court system. And you're still offering yourself for public office. And yet you've stolen. Because some of these people, and we know them, we know where they have come from, we know where they were before 2012. We know some of them were living where they were living. We know. Now, some of them have acquired mansions, 3-4 mansions, in 5 years, in 10 years. And you're not telling us how you acquired that wealth so that other Kenyans can learn from you. You cannot explain to us, because you know you have not worked for that wealth, is stolen wealth. So time has come when those who steal public resources should just be put on the firing squad. In fact, there should be no time wastage. If we should just have one court, we prosecute you, we find you guilty, and we finish with you. So I agree with my elder brother, His Grace, the Most Right Reverend Archbishop Wabukala, that those who have stolen public funds should not be cleared. They should not occupy any public space. In fact, they should be made to refund all that they have stolen. Well, I am in full support. And why wasting time on this one? We should not even be wasting time on this one. Going around in circles, and we know that these people are stolen. Because how can you explain you didn't have a Rolex watch worth 3 million? You probably didn't have a watch like I don't have a watch. And then all of a sudden, you're putting on a watch that is worth 4 or 5 million shillings. What are we teaching our children? What are we leaving for our children? When you cannot even explain to your own children how you acquired wealth. I don't know where these people live, because I can tell you, I have a son who is 12, the younger children, and my daughter is 10. They ask me questions. Daddy, how did we acquire this house? How did we buy this house? I must explain to them that this is how we bought this house. So where do these people live? They don't have families who ask questions. It is very sad. It's ridiculous. Dr. Mazai, is ridiculous.
Okay.
If I was the president, in fact, I've already asked Raila to give me one job when Chebukati retires, the chairman of EACC. I would recommend that we change the laws. I deal with them myself. We're wasting time.
Let me ask you one thing. We have wasted time. We are in chaos. We are in the middle of Mediterranean Sea, trying to swim across to Italy. We might not reach Italy. But the problems, if they are cut short, I remember I went to Nigeria to do an election. And I want to tell Kenyans to listen here. African elections are a trigger to chaos. Yesterday we had a very, very important debate on it on my Twitter space. Millions were listening to us. I moderated it very well, and I want to tell you frankly, 10 minutes to 5 a.m. in the morning in Nigerian time, the government spokesman cancelled the elections. The first election that brought Buhari to power was cancelled. He cancelled. The Electoral Commission announced that it cannot conduct an election because of A, B, C, D. And therefore, the Constitution says we conduct it today. But we are not going to conduct it today. And the reasons are the following. And I'm going to announce another date shortly for the elections to be conducted. We are very sorry for those who have paid their tickets, journalists and others, for the inconveniences caused. The bookings that we had made in hotels, our credit cards had been taken off, money had been taken. You have to look for your cameras and go home. This election has been postponed. That is exactly what happened to Dr. Kisia. People packed up the goods, and the Electoral Commission put another date when the election will be properly. And one of the reasons that this lady, this gentleman put in place was there have been irregularities of a very big magnitude where people had even printed ballot papers and where people were complaining everywhere. Out of 84 million registered voters, later on it turned out that only 28 million voted and 56 stayed home. Is that not the biggest voter apathy you have ever seen? 56 million stayed home. They never voted. So if you are preparing an election in Africa in this manner, and you know that what you have just been explaining, Philip, you are Kenyan, you are in Azimio, you need to give advice to the Azimio group that there is something which is not adding up. And if that thing does not add up, what comes out later could not add up even better if this has failed to add up. The only thing our brother Wafula should have done is to say, I was not given enough money, or I was not given this, or I have this. Let's look at Otomofo. Otomofo says we shall never open those results until we are paid our money. Now, which money is this when we are counting 4 years down the road? What is this date that has never been made for Otomofo to release our data? So you tell me, as we come to our fire, There's one fire that I want you to explain as a parent. Why do you take your children to school? And answer that and go on with that fire. Depending on Daily Nation, which I'm showing.
Dr. Masanga.
Yes. No, not fear, because this is fire. These people, all of them who are here, they are your close ally, friends. Some you have a drink, coffee, beer, eat meat. They are all of them are in the limelight. They are friends. Some of them come from your own Kakamega county. Now, why do you take your children to school?
I take my children to school. First of all, I must say that I stopped eating meat, Dr. Masanga. So I don't have time to eat meat to them.
Dr. Kisia, Philip Kisia, I used to meet you in Sagret. So if you have stopped eating meat, and but you must have seen one of them eating meat somewhere. Now, this paper is very clear, and Kenyans watching across the globe, those in the diaspora. This is a very serious. I am asking Mr. Philip on fire to set these papers on fire. Can you set the papers on fire?
I can confirm to you that I take my children to school, and I think that is my biggest investment. That is why I exist. That's why I wake up, to ensure that they get and receive good education. Why do I want them to get good education? Because I want them to be global citizens. I want them to be globally competitive. So, and that is why I take them to school. And that's why I pay attention to what they are doing in school. You know, I follow their progress. I don't leave anything to chance. And I saw this through my mother. My mother never left anything to chance. She would demand for the report form. Even when I was in college, there was nothing that was left to chance. You say, yes, yeah, now that the semester is ending, where are your results? You never gave me space. So there was no room for me to lie that, I have done very well when the results were not showing. So I think looking at today's papers, it is extremely sad that those people who have been given a chance to provide leadership in this country, that a number of them have acquired their certificates fraudulently. Because, it's not about having a certificate. Because I remember one of my professors in college who told me, it is not about holding this paper, but it is your ability to use the knowledge that you have acquired here for your betterment, for the betterment of society. So if, you have been assisted, because I know there are even certain people who are in leadership who are normally assisted to do projects, they are assisted to do assignments, they are assisted. Leave alone those ones who even just have fake degrees. Because there are many, we know them. There are many, because we live in this country. There are many of them who have fake certificates, fake documents. But there's another bigger group that is holding a certificate, at whatever level, diploma, first degree, second, or PhD, and it is not their own. They have not earned it. They have not earned that degree. How can you even feel proud? How do you explain to your child that you need to work hard in school so that you can be like me? or like Dr. Masanga with a PhD. How do you explain to your children when you well know that the one you have is not yours? You've either paid for it, you bought it. You've heard of people buying these degrees.
What remedy, Philip? What remedy? Because in the United Kingdom, where we have some of us have studied, they give you your number, student number, and that's it. You can go to planet Venus or Jupiter. If the sun can allow you to come back, that student number does not change. It remains Philip Kisia. If you have borrowed money on it, the money will remain there. With the new system of a computer, it will punch in here and say, Dr. Kisia, please, you have come to apply for a job in Sky News. But please, before you get this job, can you go and clear that, that balance? And thank you very much. On the physical form, Dr. Kisia, you told us, because that's not only condemn, Philip, let's not condemn. Let's suggest you and I, we are mature people here, and let's guide these younger men. You filled on this form and said you were in Team University or St. Lawrence, or you were in Open University. In fact, there used to be something called Open University for mature students. But here in the number, your student number says, sorry, there's a problem here. And they will technically knock you out, Dr. Kisia. What is the role of Kenya National Qualification Commission? We have a chairman, with 2 bodyguards, and each member with a bodyguard police. Isn't it? Rolling a V8. You know, some of these commissions are more powerful than you, Kisia. If they enter a nightclub or they enter a restaurant, you have to pave a way. Their bodyguards are behind them. They are supposed to screen these papers before they reach EAC or Wafula Chebukati, our guy. What has the commission of this country, what role, what research, what data do they hold? Have they gone into all MPs? They have a right to ask. You know, institutions, when they are working, and the Kisia, we are about to finish on this. When the institutions are working, my dear brother, a commission goes to Parliament and asks the Speaker of National Parliament that we politely ask all your members of Parliament to submit their certificates afresh. Do you know they have the mandate by the Act? They can come anywhere at your place of work. But the problem, as you said, is the Constitution, that 30%. Someone will go and get an order that they are coming to take my certificate. Don't take it. That's how institutions work in the United Kingdom. You are in the building working. The police have closed the door downstairs. They are checking on those who have paid the tax. And I was going to bring you to the headline that is on the Standard. Let me give it to you so that you can talk summarily as a parting shot. Then we give you your message to your constituents, and then you talk about Azimio finally encouraging Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, not to lose hope, not to put one eye down. Both eyes must be open. All of them watching. Hakuna kulala. 1.6 can be collected very easily. Do you know what happens in Namibia? In Namibia, when you go to Namibia, Philip Kisia, as soon as you buy a commodity in the shop, in the supermarket, you have already paid the tax. They don't need to see you. Buy airtime in Namibia. 10,000 Kenya shillings equivalent. They will take their money. They understand. Are you with me? Mr. Mburu doesn't even need to see your face. Does not need to come to your factory in Namibia. Does not. I'm telling you. Does not need to visit your shop in order. No. You buy, you wanted to use the phone. Hello, Kisia, where are you? You take the phone. Buy airtime. My dear, the tax has already been collected. Go to the restaurant and say, no, I need the best menu. You spend $500. The tax goes directly to Namibian Revenue Authority. Direct. So Kenya, not to lose this type of money, let them take the tax direct. My good friend Mburu has done a very good job. And you can see he has improved the tax collection systems. Thank you very much, Comrade Mburu. You have done a great job for the people of Kenya. But now, get for this master software. As soon as Philip Kisia and Matanga are going to London for Birmingham Commonwealth Games, which I am told you are accompanying me to London for the official opening of the Commonwealth Games. As soon as we reach the airport, we have already paid the tax, even if you depart. Bwana Kisia, even if you leave, even if you go to Jupiter, you have already paid. So, it is not, there is no need of even the Auditor General. What is the use of, the Auditor General will sit only to check on those machines and find out that Mr. Sonko was given 20 billion. Where did Mr. Sonko take this 20 billion? It is in the machine. It is in that small thing like this. The one on the table you see here, which I'm carrying, this one, which the Auditor General of Namibia works with. And says, hello, I'm closing this building because you have not paid. You tampered with the machine. Here, we are physically going for people in their houses and the shops. And some people have run and broken their limbs for running away from KRA. So, my dear brother, as you wrap up all that fire, don't call it a time bomb again, because the bomb has not yet exploded. Call it the fire. Burn it.
Now, first of all, let me comment on the issue of, very quickly, on the issue of certification, education. I think there are two things that need to happen. Number one is that we need to have tighter controls on all our educational institutions and ensure that they churn out quality education. Because it is the quality education that will give confidence to the employers in the global market. Because if potential employers in the global market suspect that we as a country are churning out education that is not of quality, we'll soon going to have a lot of problems. So there's need for the ministry or the commission in charge of ensuring that quality education is given. They need to wake up and do their job. The other commission is the commission that deals with certification. And, you know, they, as you said, they are spending a lot of public resources. So by the time people find it easy printing certificates in River Road and presenting them even for employment in government, leave alone private sector, is an issue that needs to be investigated. Why are people able to do this when we have a commission in charge? It means that that commission has gone to sleep and it needs to be disbanded because they are failed to carry out their mandate. Now, KRA, as you said, KRA has done a very good job. And Dr. Masanga, I want to tell you that I'm proud of KRA because KRA was actually formed by my uncle, Awan Edgar Ivan Manasseh. He is the Commissioner General creator of KRA. And we normally have a lot of discussions with him. If Mr. Mburu is your friend, I know now Mr. Manasseh is old, but he still has a very sharp mind. He should find some time and talk to Mr. Manasseh. Manasseh will give him insights. In fact, it is Mr. Manasseh who introduced a PIN in this country. He's the one who convinced Moi to allow the PIN to be implemented. And when you talk to him, he'll tell you, they have got it wrong. There are certain things that I had put in place that are being avoided. And if they implement what I had put in place, we can even double revenue collection without sweat. So if Mr. Mburu is your friend, I spoke to him last, I think, a year and a half ago through Honorable Raila's phone. If he's your friend, please tell him to look for Mr. Manasseh. Is still there. He's still very active, very sharp, and he'll get some insights. Now, back to my party Azimio, our coalition party. I would strongly advise His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga to do the following. Number one, as you said, to keep the eyes on the ball, which is doing, and is doing it very well, together with the deputy, my friend Martha Karua. They are doing a fantastic job. However, there are those people who have been appointed as regional kingpins, for lack of a better word. Some of them have even been promised jobs. I have not been promised any job so far. But those who have already been given jobs in advance, they need to be given targets. They should not start sleeping because Raila now is at almost 50% and the other one is 38, 39%. No. They, for example, I would expect that my friend Munya would deliver 50% of the, not less than 50% of the Mary votes. Right now we are 33%. For him to qualify for that office, Minister for Agriculture and Chairman of something, it cannot come for free. He has done well, but he needs to work on a target. That target can only be given by Raila himself. We cannot say that so-and-so is doing well, because doing well, again, what is the measure? We are measuring against what? In Central Province, we have looked at the figures. In Kiambu now, we are slightly about 30. In Nyandarua, we are at about 40% and so on and so forth. However, there are certain areas like Nyeri, Moranga, we are still low. So those people from Peter Kenneth and, of course now with Martha Karua being the head there, they also need to be given a target. I see Peter Kenneth following Raila all over the country. I would advise Raila to stop. Let Peter Kenneth and the rest of them concentrate in Central Province and deliver the vote for Raila Central Province. They have no business coming to Western. What are they coming to do Western Province? They add no value. So I think if Raila can do that, by ensuring that these people, let them stay. I don't want to see Peter Kenneth in Narok Kajiado. He has no value. Let him go to Moranga and bring the votes.
Can you go slowly there? Repeat. That's the fire we have been waiting for.
I am saying there is no value. There is absolutely zero value in Peter Munya coming to Kisumu. He is adding no value.
Because the vote in Kisumu is already done. Yes.
There's no value adding. I want to see him in Meru. We are at about 30% in Meru, or thereabout. He should be given a target of 50%. You cannot be given, you cannot be rewarded for doing nothing. He's done a good job so far, but he must push it to 50%. Peter Kenneth and the rest of them, Ndiretu, my friend, from Nyahururu, and all those people who keep on following Raila all over the country, let them be deployed to work in areas where they come from. Let them bring us the votes. Now, for the other areas where Raila has a stronghold, like in Western Kenya, Nyanza, Coast, and what have you, yes, we are doing well, but we can do better. Who said we cannot push it to 80%? So that is what I would, if I was advising Raila, I would advise him to do, so that we don't start slipping. I'm getting worried because I can see some of these people, because we just hear though they followed Raila here. Raila is in the current, they are in the current, Raila is, they are here. No. Please, Raila, stop it. Let these people go and look for votes where they come from. Please. That's my advice to the president.
Yes. I think I want to add there something. You are right. If you are surely from Mount Kenya, why one of the problems that campaign managers don't realize, what's the use of following the candidate? There should be a small skeleton of a secretariat following the candidate, because they are leaders in those areas where they are going. You have a point here. There is no need of Peter Kenneth. Where Muranga has a problem, we know very well, deeply rooted UDA in Muranga or Kiambu. You have people from Kiambu flying on a helicopter, going to campaign with the presidential candidate in Kisumu, where in Kisumu, His Excellency, Right Honorable Prime Minister, will get 101%. These guys mobilize their areas, counties, where there is chaos. Where we see people not, we have 50%, let's get 70%, 30% for UDA. That is the strategy. That is what, let's talk about it openly. We don't need to beat about the bush and mamas in the toilet. No way. You have brought a very good point, and it is going to be to reach. Your Excellency, Honorable Prime Minister, listen to us. We also see from very far, we are not inside there, but we see from far the pitfalls of insanity. That some areas are left, the people are following you. This is how money is misused. These helicopters cost 300,000, and you find MPs from one area. It is not his helicopter. He's not a bodyguard. Why do you follow the presidential candidate in an area where he has 100% already. Concentrate on an area where we still have obstacles, and that will bring very good fruits. Let other people concentrate on our area. The way Martha went to Eldoret, you saw the reception in Eldoret. The presidential candidates can go everywhere. Kalonzo can go everywhere because Kalonzo has mastered his bedroom. And he can cough and the bedroom can come. The people there respect him. He can follow the presidential candidates. Martha can follow the presidential candidate because there are people there in Kirinyaga. Usually, actually, she went back there and talked to people. Told them this is what we want. This is the chance. And finally, from my side, with Martha, there is something which we call promise. Promise, you promise a charter, is different from a reality. A promise is more or less a myth. It might not come. There is nowhere you are going to sue Ruto that women wrote a charter with him. He will tell you the charter was written, but I did not get what I wanted. Women voted for Azimio. So the only thing that women in Kenya have got is the reality of Martha Karua being there. It's practical. And Azimio there, you scored marks. You better take that message back and say, you scored marks by appointing a deputy running mate as a woman. I'm telling you, that idea is eating United Democratic Alliance like there is an animal that eats you when you don't feel the pain. What is it called, Philip? Is it a rat? Yes. Have you ever been bitten by a rat in those village houses?
No, I've not got that chance.
I have to be frank, yes. I was bitten.
I've not got that chance.
Yes,
my mother never allowed that to happen.
You must be lucky you grew up. But rats come at night. A rat can be biting your feet without you knowing that a rat passed by your feet. But when you wake up and the mom tells you, get a hole, we are going to dig at 5 a.m. in the garden before you go to school. Step your leg in the dew, that dew on the grass. And I'm telling you, people who claim not to have been bitten by the rat, I can find Philip is one of them. But for me, rats can bite you. And they bite while doing... A rat can be on your leg, but you don't feel pain until water is poured on the leg. So, thank you very much. I want to give you 2 minutes to talk to Kenyans of Westland constituency and tell them, and the Kenyans at large, and also appeal to the government that people like you should be in embassies like a Democratic Republic of Congo. I know you are not asking, but you deserve to be. This position of Waweru, Mr. President, this guy is fit to be in the embassy of Congo. We shall do very good trade. Am I campaigning for you, sir? You should be as charged affairs in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why are you not fighting for it? You are fully qualified. Why are you keeping quiet? I am doing it now for you. And when you reach there, don't start dancing. Because I know you like dancing so much, Kithia, my town clerk. Democratic Republic of Congo, there's a vacancy there Mr. Waweru refused to go. Mr. President, this man from Luyaland, there is a vacancy there. Let him go. He sacrificed his place for, you sacrificed your place for Tim Wanyonyi. Yes, every revolution in the world has people's gains. You started that. Why are you not talking and you are keeping quiet? You have the platform now. The fire. That's the fire, Mr. President. Fire is here. Kisia can cool the fire before he goes to the Electoral Commission. He was now asking for the post of Electoral Commission. Go to the embassy where there is diamond. There is diamond gold in DRC Congo. Why do you ask for chaos where people are going to insult you and the children will ask you, Dad, why are they insulting you? Go and work there and get experience. You're a younger man. Get experience. Me now, I cannot work in an embassy because that will be degrading me. I am beyond. I can only be the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I cannot even be an MP in my country. I don't want. It is too much. It's gone. My firstborn, and secondborn, and the thirdborn can become MPs in my constituency. I've kept it for them. My cousin in Ambeshe has kept it for them in Uganda. One of them, if they decide now, next year, he will surrender it for them. He can go to Parliament in Bududa. I cannot go back in Bududa and start fighting for a parliamentary seat. I am on the bigger cake. Ile cake ya juu ile, foreign ministry. Yes, international relations, that I can now knock hands with you in the embassy in DRC Congo. Why do you ask for the IEBC chairperson? You know, ukwe like Chebukati, they will insult you every day. Go there in DRC Congo or Denmark. In fact, for you, Denmark would be very good because there is a health system. Ambulance comes in 1 minute. Thank you very much. But I cannot go to ask for an ambassadorship. This show is the fire. We are not interested how big the numbers can be. The people going to see your video, you'll have your video within the next 1 hour or 2 hours. You can use it the way you want. Let your facts reach the Azimio boss. Let it reach every Kenyan. Put it on your website. I saw you had a typing error on Punchline Africa. You put a lower hyphen. That's why your people, you miss, but we have corrected it on your Facebook, on your Twitter handle. So correct it is Punchline Africa TV. That's it. But you put a lower hyphen. It has made people quite confused. I can see Bokoko has just asked me. I can see you. So please, thank you for attending and opening this fire every Tuesday. Any person in business, in security, in legacy, in agriculture, in everything, you are welcome on this show between 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. 2 hours, you have it. You are the master of it. We look for Professor Manyora. We want him. And send that message to him. Is your colleague that Matsanga wants to talk. And we chat. You have chatted very well. That's your chance now to say the last words. Parting
Thank you.
shots. And
Thank you.
Let them be fire. Not,
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Masanga, for having me once again. It's always a pleasure being around you. And indeed, it has been fire. And let me say this. First of all, thank you for pitching for me to be an ambassador. You know, when you are appointed to serve, as anything in public service, is an honor. So if given a chance, of course, it'd be an honor. But I was expecting that you would have said, this man from being the boss of the city, he should be given a flag, because I think I've qualified for a flag. If people like, I've seen people, I don't want to mention names, I've seen people who never went beyond standard 7 being given flags. So I thought that, as my elder brother would have said, no, if you could give this one a flag, this one even deserves even better. But I must say that serving the public in whatever capacity is an honor. And of course, I'm sure the incoming president has heard your message, and he will do something close, either a flag or something closer to a flag.
Not even only an incoming president, the current president can appoint you as charged affairs. You are not an ambassador to go through the parliament. You get my point?
I'm getting your point.
Yes, please.
Getting your point.
Talk to me.
As that one comes.
On international relations, I'm an expert. That's why I'm correcting you. Charged affairs, you can go and become a deputy ambassador. Deputy ambassadors are never vetted in parliament. The president, up to now, in the remaining 56 months, can appoint you. Why are you going too far? That when Azimio, you better come to me to teach you strategic management as one of the semester for free.
I don't want to appear as if I fear parliament for vetting.
No, parliament for ambassadors. Parliament for ambassadors, but go for Zaire.
I would be happy to be vetted. But having said that,
yes.
Now I would want to urge the people of Westlands, all the voters in Westlands, to re-elect Honorable Timothy Wanyonyi. He has served us for 2 terms. He has done exceedingly well, and I'm hoping that you can give him the 3rd and final chance to serve you, so that he can be elevated to higher office. The same should apply for all other Azimio candidates in the great city of Nairobi. I think we have to a large extent, we have good candidates all over. So as somebody who has run this city, I can tell you that you have nothing better than the candidates that Azimio is presenting. We also have our own candidate as a gubernatorial candidate in the name of Igade. At least he has no challenges with his academic qualifications. We've not heard of any. And I can see probably, God will allow him to serve as the 4th governor, because if the competitor is removed, I don't see Chebukati giving UD another chance. But even if it's given, I think we have a better candidate. And of course, the people of the great Republic of Kenya. This is our moment. This is a moment that Kenyans have been waiting for, to vote in somebody who will bring the change that we so desire. Somebody who will build on the legacy that our late beloved president, Emilio Mwai Kibaki, built that foundation that has been continued by His Excellency, the President, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. You need to build on the foundation. And because I know Raila, I've worked with him before when I was the city chief, I know he means what he says. I know he's a man of action. Let us give him this opportunity to provide leadership for the next 5 years. This is a Mandela moment for Kenya. Vote in Raila Amolo Odinga as your 5th president. God bless you.
Thank you very much, viewers across the continent of Africa and in Kenya. This is a political season in Kenya. I want to thank Philip Kisia, the former town clerk of Nairobi City, a city with a new legacy, the only city with a legacy of an express highway that takes you to the city within 15 minutes. You drive carefully and make sure you exit in your normal exit position. I want to thank all of you who have been listening to us. I think you have picked one or two things. I can see our friend Joseph Otto Manasseh from Denmark, as usual. He says a rat is like a dangerous friend who praises you but biting you from the back. That is true. It eats your skin while it is making sure that you are not feeling it. And Joseph Otto Manasseh says, you are welcome in Denmark. The Danish people are waiting for Kenyan ambassador because Dr. Caroline Kirugu did not go. She she returned the appointment to the sender. Now let me do a takeaway. In every institution, there are obstacles. But the obstacles of IEBC in Kenya look to be or seem to be very, very dangerous and taking us to the let me start. Fellow Africans, elections on the continent of Africa bring quite a lot of conflicts for us. A better election is an election that is well prepared, well arranged, well documented, with enough facilitation to produce the best transparent results. A badly managed election is equivalent to war. Where we are now in Kenya, the election and the IEBC seem to be changing goalposts from one statement to the other. The courts are still blocking some of the things that have already been implemented within the Electoral Act. It poses a question, therefore, and I pose a question. Will this election in Kenya, given the obstacles that and the challenges, confusion that is within the commission, will it be free, fair, transparent? Whether that will come, time will tell. But for now, everybody is talking about degrees, corruption, voter transfers, dead voters, fake voters, and yet signatures were called for. Are some of the signatures that were presented or that have been presented might be signatures of dead voters? The KPMG has not come out to give us a final verified voter register of 22 million point something. But we have assumed that the signatures that were got are the real signatures, and therefore nobody will go to court after that to say those signatures did not exist. Hoping that this letter to the people of Philippi will reach the Philippians. I am David, speaking like Paul, writing to the Philippi people. Those who have ears can hear me. On this fire, facing the fire, I want to thank my guest, Philip Kisia, who has created not only fire, but an atomic bomb, which he did not disclose to us. He's taken it back home. Thank you for watching Facing the Political Fire show. It will be coming every Tuesday from 10 o'clock to 12 East African Standard Time. Next, we have very many experts. Lucas Meso, the former chairman of ADC, Agricultural Development Corporation, is on the firing line. He will be coming next week, wherever we shall be, and we call upon all the people of the legacy trend to be prepared. We are coming closer to where you are. Take care, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving us your 2 hours. God bless you. I wish we find ourselves in the city of Kinshasa. Kinshasa. Is it Kinshasa? Yes, Kinshasa. While dancing to those good rumbas. You know you're a very good rumba dancer. I don't want to accuse you to madam that you dance rumba very well, but you're a very good rumba dancer. So thank you very much. Hoping to see you in DRC Congo sometime, even before elections, because once you are appointed by His Excellency the President, now you pack up your things and go, you vote. You will come back to vote. But we want you to establish, you know you are the type of people who can logistically establish a trading partnership with DRC Congo. Don't allow this Bazungu to take everything when we can ourselves do it. Thank you very much. This station, therefore, is for Africa, with Africa by Africa. And we thank Joseph Otoma Nansen from Denmark. We don't need elections in Africa. This democratic election killed Gaddafi, Sudan, Saddam Hussein, and so on. See Libya now. China has no elections. Now see. I agree with you, Dr. Manasseh, for the first time, second time, but all the things we have agreed. If I were to take over power somewhere in Africa, the first thing I would do, Philip Kisia, is to ban elections for some time and educate my countrymen. Ban it. Not that you have stopped it completely. Postponed elections. Educate people what is an election, so that the candidates that you will choose come with 2 letters, conceding letter and a congratulatory letter to the masses thanking them. All the candidates in Africa, except South Africa, Philip Kisia, they come with 1 letter. President Biya has been coming with 1 letter for 42 years. And you know next where we can mention. But we are not going to mention it for now. It's congratulatory letter. Also, opposition in those countries, they also come with 1 letter. That I'm going to win the election. There's no second letter in the other pocket of the court. Thank you very much, viewers. This station is for Africa, with Africa by Africa. Ciao.